In July 1518, in the medieval city of Strasbourg, a woman steps out onto the street and starts to dance. There's no music, no celebration. She just dances. Hours later, she's still dancing. The next day, still dancing. By the end of the week, she's not alone anymore. Dozens of people are dancing themselves to complete exhaustion, some to death. No one told them to. No one understands why. And historians are still arguing about what really happened in Strasbourg that summer. The woman's name was Frau Trophäa. Neighbors later said her husband hated her and wanted her dead. A detail historians would later find strangely telling. Within 4 days, more than 30 people join her. By the end of August, the number reaches somewhere between 50 and 400 people, dancing non-stop through the streets of Strasbourg. City authorities, instead of stopping the dancing, do something surprising. They hire musicians. They build a wooden stage. They even hire professional dancers to dance alongside the afflicted. Their logic, by the medical standards of the time, made sense to them. They believed the only way to cure the dancers was to let them dance the sickness out of their system. They were fatally wrong. The music and organized dancing didn't help. It made things worse. The number of afflicted kept growing. According to records from a local physician in period chronicles, at the peak of the epidemic, around 15 people were dying per day, from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer physical exhaustion. Authorities eventually reversed course. They banned public music and dancing. They took the afflicted on a pilgrimage to a mountain shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, a saint believed at the time to curse sinners with compulsive dancing. The dancing stopped as mysteriously as it began. Here's what makes this story genuinely strange. It isn't an isolated case. Similar dancing plagues were documented across Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries. In Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland. Modern researchers have proposed several competing explanations. The first theory is biological, ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye and produces compounds chemically related to LSD. If the local bread supply was contaminated, symptoms could include convulsions and hallucinations. The problem with this theory, ergotism causes severe pain and loss of muscle control, a state that would make sustained, coordinated dancing almost physically impossible. The second theory, championed by historian John Waller, is psychological, mass psychogenic illness triggered by extreme stress. 1518 wasn't a random year for Strasbourg. The city had just been hit by famine, plague outbreaks, record-high infant mortality, and crushing taxation. People were living under a level of stress that was nearly unbearable. Combine that with a deeply held local superstition, belief in the curse of Saint Vitus, and that stress could convert into a physical symptom through a mechanism still recognized in psychiatry today: conversion disorder. A mind that can no longer absorb the pressure converts that stress into the body. In this case, into uncontrollable movement. It's worth being precise here. This isn't contagious madness the way movies like to frame it. This is a real, documented psychological phenomenon. Mass psychogenic illness has been recorded well into the 20th and 21st centuries, including in schools and factories, among groups exposed to extreme shared stress. What makes the Strasbourg case genuinely fascinating isn't the dancing itself. It's what it reveals about the human mind. Under enough pressure, the body can express what the mind can't consciously process. And when an entire community shares the same burden, the same fear, the same superstition, it can, quite literally, share the same symptom. We don't dance in the streets today, but psychologists will tell you the mechanism hasn't gone anywhere. It just wears new masks: mass anxiety, viral panic attacks spreading through social media, contagious symptoms inside closed communities. No one will ever know for certain what really happened in Strasbourg that summer of 1518. But maybe that's exactly why the story still pulls us in, 500 years later. It reminds us how thin the line between reason and chaos gets, when an entire society is pushed past its breaking point. If you enjoyed this story, tell me in the comments. Which other unexplainable event from history should we dig into next?